Today I'm going to explain you how to use the distance formula, and we are going to apply it in some situations. We're going to use the coordinates and we are going to work with some real world situations. First, you need to remember that the distance formula is when you need to try to find distance from one point to another point, or from one position to another position, and this formula for distance is using to calculate distance between one city to another city. Having the points right in the map. So we're gonna use a formula for distance, and the formula is a square root, and we're gonna have the coordinate x2 minus x1 to the power of 2 plus y2 and y sub 1 to the power of 2. And this we are going to, first we need to solve these operations inside the square root, and finally we are going to calculate the square root. For example, here we have an exercise that say find the distance between the 2 points, and we have -3, -6, 1 and -2. First, you need to identify the coordinates x1, or the point x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2 and y sub 2. So here we have x1, y1, x2 and y2. Then you are going to replace, first we are going to graph it, this point in the coordinate plane. Remember, we have -3 and -6. From 0 we are going to move 3 units to the left, and then we are going to down 6 units to have the point -3, -6. Then 1 and -2. From 0 we are going to move 1 to the right and 2 down because it's negative. And then when you connect these two things, you're going to have a specific segment, and we are going to calculate what is the distance between these 2 points, which is -3, -6, 1 and -2. We are going to use the formula for distance, and x sub 2 minus x sub 1 to the power of 2, y2 minus y1 to the power of 2. Then we need to do this one. We are going to replace a value. The value for 1, the value for x sub 2 is 1, minus, remember this minus is in the formula, so you copy it. And then x1, which is -3. We put it in parentheses because we're gonna do an operation between negative and negative. And remember this one, negative and negative, when we have negative and negative, it's positive. Then y2, it's -2, and y1, it's -6. Then we're gonna have 1 plus 3, negative and negative we convert into positive, or it's a negative times negative, it's going to be positive. Then -2 plus 6, negative times negative, it's positive 6, so negative and negative you convert into positive 6. Then we add these two, 1 plus 3, it's 4, and -2 plus 6, it's 4. Remember, different signs, we subtract them and copy the sign of the bigger number. Then we're going to have 4 to the second, it's 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 4 is 16. And finally, we're going to add 16 plus 16, and we're going to have 32. Then you calculate the square root 32, and we're going to have an approximation of 5.66. And this is going to be the distance of this from this point to this point in the coordinate plane. Now I'm going to explain one application of a distance formula. For example, imagine if you have the triangle ABC. You have the triangle ABC, and you need to find the perimeter. First, you need to remember that perimeter is the distance it's the distance around the shape when you add all the distance. For example, here when you add this plus this plus this and plus this. So in this case, we don't know what is the measurement from AB, from BC, and from CA. We don't know. So what do we have to do? We need to use the distance formula to find the distance between these 2 points, from AB, from BC, and from CD. So we have the coordinates -1, -4, +1, 3, and 4. So what do we have to do? We need to choose x1, y1, x2, and y2. In this case, I'm going to choose x1 as a -4, y1 +1, x2 3, and y2, 4. But remember, you can choose this one as x1, y1, and the other two as x2 and y2. But in this case, I choose x1, y1, x2, and y2. Then what do you have to do? Use the distance formula. Then we are going to replace the values. x1, it's 3. Here we have x2 is 3. Here we have. And x1, it's 4. x2 minus x1. And then we're going to have y2, which is 4, and y1, which is positive 1. So then we're going to have 3 minus a negative 4. So this minus, remember, we convert into positive. And this 4 minus positive 1, we leave as a negative. Then you're going to have 3 plus 4. It's 7. And 7 to the second. And 4 minus 1, 3. 3 to the second. Then you're going to have 49 plus 9. 7 to the second, 49. 3 to the second, it's equals to 9. Then you're going to have 58 because you add 49 plus 9, which is 58. And finally, when you calculate the square root 58, you're going to have the one, or it's the distant one, or from the AB, it's 7.61. And we already finished with the first distance. With the distance from this point to this point. We are going to repeat the process from BC and from CD. We are going to choose x1, y1, x2, and y2. So I'm going to show you the procedure. For example, in this one, from BC, or it's from B to C, I choose x1 equal to 3, y1 is equal to 4, x2 is equals to 2, and y2 is equals to negative 3. So then what do you have to do? Replace a value. Follow the same process of this one. x2, it's positive 2. x1, it's positive 3. 2 minus 3. Then y2, it's negative 3, and y1, it's equals to negative 4. Then here, 2 minus 3, it's negative 1. Pay special attention when we have the negative. In negative 3 minus 4, it's negative 7 to the power of 2. When you replace this value in the calculator, please use the parentheses. In parentheses, put a negative 1 and then to the power of 2, and you're going to have positive 1. Negative 7 to the power of 2 is going to be positive 49. If you don't use the parentheses, you're going to have a negative answer, so it's a wrong answer. Then you're going to have 50, and square root 50, it's 7.07. Then you have to do the same procedure from C to A, and you're going to have this answer. When you finish the procedure, you're going to have 6.32. But this is not the answer because you have to find a perimeter. So it says you're going to have this plus this, this plus this, and this plus this. The distance between, or it says the measurement. So we add distance 1, distance 2, and distance 3, and we're going to have the value of 21 units. So now we can say that the perimeter of the triangle ABC is 21 units.